What's going on, YouTube? Q back here again with another video for you. In today's video, I'm going to explain why I sold my Camaro and my Challenger Hellcat. So I've been getting a lot of questions about why I sold the two cars in my DMs, in the comments of my video. A lot of people mad that I sold the Camaro especially, and some of the Challenger too, but a lot more with the Camaro. So I lost a few subscribers, so let me explain why I did it. And before we do that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Let's jump into the video. So I've been without the Camaro and the Challenger for like a month and a half right now, and I sold them like 2-3 days apart. I think I sold the Camaro on a Thursday and I sold the Challenger on a Monday or a Tuesday. So it happened real fast, and I wasn't expecting to do that, but things happened and it was a good opportunity to do so, so I did. So what's going on? People like the car. So I started with the Camaro, and as somebody posted in the comments on one of my videos, I did have my Camaro listed on Facebook Marketplace. And I was discreetly doing it, getting a test for it. So I had it marked up at a high price to sell with everything. But I think I had it listed at like 43. So the plan with that was to, I was going to sell my Camaro SS1LE, and I was looking at a ZL1. And I actually inquired at the dealership about the ZL1. But what happened was that ZL1 sold really fast, and then reality sank in. I was trying to trade in my Camaro to the dealership, and they would only offer me like $30,000. I'm like, 30,000? Like, what? That's like that was insulting right there, especially for how much they were selling for. So dealerships were selling the Camaros for like 40. So the 2019s with mileage similar to mine, which mine only had 8,000, the 2019s were selling for like 40, 41. So I had a 2020, so I assumed I could at least get the same price. So I wasn't firm on the price, so I was able to wiggle on it. But trade-in values did not do it, so private sale was the only way to go. So I listed the Camaro on Facebook Marketplace, and then I got hit up by a few people interested, but it's a lot of tire kickers. I hate selling cars privately because most people aren't serious. They just want to go for a joyride, and they want to lowball, and it's just annoying. I hate dealing with that. So a young woman, she contacted me, and she was looking at the car for her husband, and we were going back and forth for a couple of days, and they were serious. And I did put firm at the bottom of my ad. So I was talking to her. Her husband ended up calling me. He was like, "Oh man, I didn't see the firm. I can only offer you X amount." So he was, I'm like, you know what? I'll take all my mods off and I'll sell it to you for that price. Like, I just don't want to deal with selling the car, going back and forth, showing people, because this is really time consuming and it's annoying. And he seemed serious, so he came and checked the car out. And then this is how I met Mac. So he worked at a dealership in Ohio, and I put his stuff in the video. I'll probably put it in this one too. So his dealership was buying cars like mine, buying cars like this. This is actually one of the cars that they were going to buy. So I ended up selling him the Camaro, and the plan was to get that ZL1, but that thing had sold like so quick. And then I wanted like a specific ZL1, and like by the time I tried to replace it, it just wasn't any out there. And this car kind of fell in my lap. Like I'll get to that later. Let me jump in the car. I'm like a ways away from home, so I got to start heading back, so I'm gonna mount you guys up. When Mac was at my house checking out the Camaro, I had to stay home. I was supposed to meet him in a public location. So while he was there, I'm like, man, I was like, so you work for a dealership? That's something that he didn't disclose to me before I met him. So it's something he disclosed after he showed up to my house, like, oh, by the way, I work for a dealership. Here's my car. He was wearing the dealership attire. I'm like, oh, snap. So I'm thinking like, man, if he's paying me this much for my Camaro, how much would he give me for my Challenger? So I gave him the VIN. He looked at the car, did a walk around. So he was like, yeah, if I get the wrap removed, he'll buy that from me too. So he gave me a price on that I couldn't refuse. So I think he offered me like $48.5 on the Challenger, and I paid $47 for it. So it made sense. Like, I love cars, but I like money a little bit more than cars. I wasn't planning on selling the Challenger at all this year, but if you don't know, like, the used car market is going crazy right now, and I was able to get top dollar for my Challenger. So it just made sense, the perfect opportunity to do so. So I just went for it. Like, it was a no-brainer to me. Like, I don't know if I can be able to sell it next year. When I planned on selling it, I definitely wouldn't be able to sell it for next year at this price if things go back to normal, which I expect them to do so. But right now they're not building it. I say it like all the time, like the microchip shortage is really messing with the new car sales. And that's another thing with my Challenger. Like, I honestly wanted to order a new Challenger, a wide body. So to me, it was more of a business decision to get rid of the Challenger and the Camaro. Well, the Camaro was going to go anyway. Like, cars age really fast in YouTube years. So I had the Camaro for like a year and 3 months. So at that point, I came to the decision like, man, I'm going to mod this thing, like start heavily modifying this Camaro. Or I could just buy a ZL1, because I was going to make my Camaro look like a ZL1. So if you don't know, the aftermarket for the 19s and 20 Camaros are pretty crappy. Like, they just came out with the ZL1 front bumper, and there's not a whole lot of like appearance mods and stuff like that. So they finally dropped this ZL1 next gen speed. They got a ZL1 front bumper for the 2019 and 2020 specific Camaros, and I was going to get that, but then it was sold out of the ones with like the LED. So I would have had to got the cheap one, would have had to paint it. My car was like half wrapped, so it was just a lot to do it. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get a ZL1. Then the ZL1 was gone. Still didn't find the ZL1 after I bought this car. Like, I was looking for a very particular one, and I didn't even look at wide bodies. Like, the Challenger was probably my least favorite out of the three. So unless I get a wide body, that's the only way I'll go back to a Challenger. But I also considered buying a supercar, an entry-level supercar, but I didn't. I bought this Mustang GT350. No regrets so far. And the Mustang is like a good blend between the two. It's more practical than the Camaro, and it still got it's more practical like the Challenger, but not as practical as the Challenger. And it's still a sports car like the Camaro, even though I still think the Camaro handles better than this Mustang. And then this engine is something completely different than the other two. Like, they don't offer anything like this flat plane crank V8, this thing revs to the moon. So that's basically it why I sold them. Like, I was already selling the Camaro. A dealership bought the car, so I just ran it by him for the Challenger, and he bought that one too. Same person bought both cars from me. Simple as that. So I definitely sold the Challenger way sooner than I expected, but it is what it is. Maybe sometime in the future, still want a wide body, still want a ZL1. So now we can get into what the dealership sold them for, and I'll show you all the postings of that. So the cars are sold. So now we can hop into what the dealership is selling the cars for. So I'm going to go to another video on just browsing through their website. And both of the cars are actually sold already, and they sold for a nice chunk of change. So let's go over to that video now. Here we go. Going to check out their used inventory. And this is going to be, I saw the Challenger already, but I'm looking for the Camaro. Decided to do it today because I assume they're closed since it's a major holiday. So let me see. Yeah, oh, there we go. That's the Challenger right there. Just open that up in the tab. And let me look for the Camaro as well. We got 7 Camaros. Woo, that's got to be me right there. Yep, 2020. There's no way there's another one. And this is the Camaro of my friend that I mentioned in from Instagram. He sold his ZL1 as well. Yeah, that's expensive. We'll look at his car too. But they're buying everybody's car. Even the 2013 ZL1 is going for 42. All right, let's go to the first tab, which is the Challenger. So the Challenger, they got listed for $54,000. And if you recall in the video how much I paid for it, my sticker was around $47. And I sold the Challenger to them for I sold it for $48,500. $54 is very high for what this car is. Like I said, it's a very high used car market right now. So they're probably not going to get that much. So they probably shot for the moon. But I can see them getting maybe 51, 52 for it. That's just my opinion. Which they'll still profit from because they didn't have to do anything to the car. So enough with the Hellcat. Let's move over to the Camaro. Oh man, I wonder if they photoshopped this because it looks way more green than what it normally looks like in person. This is more of a yellowish tint to it, but this looks straight up green with very little yellow. And they're selling this thing for $42,146. That's a odd number. I don't know how they calculated that much, but they probably have to sell it for that price and not negotiate for it. So I sold my Camaro to them for $38,500. So they're about to come up on almost $4,000. And that's actually the price that I had it listed for. With the Borlas, and the extra set of tires, I was going to sell it for $43. But when I took all the stuff off, I was going to sell it for $40, private sale. But just got a bunch of tire kickers, and I took all of it off and sold it to them because they were serious and straight to the point. Yeah, this picture right here is more representative because you can see the yellow. It's a lot more yellow than, well, it's not that green. It's like a equal balance between yellow and green. I was the original owner. I bought that new. My sticker was $47,000, and this is what it's at now. Let's see what they say. This Kelly Blue Book is way off, because for me, they said between like 42 to like 43. No, 42 was the top, and I think it went down to like from 39 to 42 was the range on here. So let's take a look at the other ZL1. So this car new, I think it's stickered at like 63, and he had some PPF done to it. Other than that, I believe it's stock, but this is a 2020 ZL1, D badge, no Chevy sign. $68,000. Like, you can get the ZL1 1LE for that price with like rebates and stuff. But I don't know how many of those are out there. I wasn't in the market for a new one of those. So let me see. The market says, man, is that right? 68 to 71? That's high. And this is a great price. I don't know. The red hot. 1,800 miles. This car was barely broken in. The break-in period is like 750. Alright guys, I'm in the middle of another video, but I completely forgot to give my Camaro followers somebody else to look at. So I got a list of people that I follow. So on YouTube, I got 4 Second 6 Gen, LYNTEE, Hot 1LE, Mac Petit, Race Car Friends. All of these people are good people with Camaros. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to their channel And also on Instagram, I got a couple more Camaro people, like 2SS Vert, and Bruce Wayne, and it's a whole lot more. Like, I'll link them all in the description below. Sorry, I got a brain fart. Can't think of everybody off the top of my head, but please go give them a like, subscribe to their channel. Amazing Camaro content, and they're doing the same thing that I planned on doing, especially 4-second 6th gen. He's going the power modding upgrades right now, so definitely give him a look, because he's doing some good things, and he's done a lot of mods. He got a plethora of knowledge on the Camaro, so give them all a follow.